subscribe button, hit the like button for your girl, turn on post notifications. If you're new, welcome. But let's get into this topic, y'all. So hopefully this information helps somebody, and this is based on the state of Georgia, me having children, and yeah, I think that's about it. And I just wanted to kind of be candid with you guys, and again, hopefully this helps somebody or whatever. But anyway, I'll start off with a bit of a backstory. So me and the kids' dad, we've been together since 2003. We got married in 2005. And we were together ever since. But yeah, so we got married then. I joined the military in 2009, moved to Georgia later that year, and then him and our two oldest moved to Georgia in 2010. So we were together, whatever, and then things happened. And we separated in 2017 around this time of that year. So yeah, about because we're in October, so 2017. But anyway, just kind of a backstory on that. So once we separated, nobody really filed for divorce. I mean, some of it was willfulness, spitefulness, whatever you want to call it. Definitely a lot of it was financially, because I did reach out to some lawyers. They wanted like $5,000 to start, whatever. And I was like, ooh, no, that's not going to happen. But anyway, but they did give me good advice. So, I think a few years back, we did have like a heated exchange, which prompted me to like hop online, and I was like, I'll just use one of the companies online that helps you with the paperwork and whatever, because that was going to be the cheapest way. And I kind of started, and I stopped. I went back to life, never paid it any attention. Okay, so last year I was like, you don't need to go into 2022 without being divorced, which it never happened. Again, I was kind of lollygagging on my end. But then I think once 2022 hit, I was like, okay, we're in 2022. This has been going on long enough. You need to file for divorce. Even if you're not divorced in 2022, it needs to be in motion. So in about May, I restarted my online account with that one of the online companies. I'll try to tag it in this video. Hopefully I remember to do that. And I went, filled out the paperwork with them. I think it was like $50 to start, or was it 50 or 150? Either way, it was cheaper than a lawyer, y'all. But I filled out that paperwork, printed out everything, reviewed it, made my corrections, went back in. They corrected everything for me, printed that out again, and I also told them to mail me a copy. And the good thing was I didn't have to wait for them to mail it. I could have printed out whatever and get started. So I printed out the paperwork. And I'm in Fulton County here in Georgia. If anybody from Georgia is watching, filled that out, and then I went to get everything notarized, did that, and dropped them in the mail. And I was like, okay, well, can you send these back? And I put a date on there. I gave like 3 weeks or so, something like that. Anyway, so back in July, I didn't hear anything, so I was like, hey, what's going on with the paperwork? It was kind of like, oh, I have to wait for my lawyers to review whatever. And I was like, okay. Then in August, I sent a text message and was like, what's going on? Yeah, no response. Okay, good thing was I did have the printed copy that they had mailed me. I already had it then, so I had to open up the packet, re-notarize everything, and was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the courthouse. And I think this was on August 28th, if I remember correctly. So I went to the courthouse that day, and the clerks did help me file. I think I paid $225 or $250, somewhere around there, to do that. Now, at the time, I was presenting everything with that paperwork: the request for the divorce, what's called like a settlement agreement, um, parenting plan, and a few others because a few other documents because you know that was my mindset. But the lady was like, well, you can only submit a request for the divorce, and I think it was like a financial affidavit because him not signing off makes it a contested divorce. And I was like, oh wow, great, okay, cool. Anyway, once I wrapped that up, um they printed out everything that I would need. They gave me a date of September 29th, and they were like, well, did you need us to serve him? So I was like, well, he's not in the state of Georgia. And they were like, oh, well, if that's the case, you're going to have to do it. You're going to have to make sure he gets served. I was like, oh, okay. So I left the courthouse. Once I left, I immediately got on the phone, called, Googled some process servers in his state, and was like, you know, this is what I needed done. I only contacted like two of them. The price difference was about $5 with them. I went with the first person because that guy sounded pretty cool, whatever. And hey, I'll say $5, whatever the case may be. So I ended up having to pay him $80, and then it was $85 processing fee. So once I got home, I had to scan everything, email it over to him that the court gave me. Once I did that, the guy was like, okay, the next day we're going to try to start serving him. I said, okay, because he was like, you don't have any time to waste. So, and in Georgia, that was called a 30-day court appearance. So from 29th of, August to September 29th, they gave us that first date. So I was like, okay, cool. So the next day, same day when the guy started, about 9 or 10 o'clock, he called me and was like, hey, I got him served. I'll send you over the notarized document for the courts to show that we served him, whatever. And I was like, okay, cool. Thanks a lot. Thanks for getting it done that quickly, whatever. So, with the paperwork they gave, hold on, y'all. The paperwork they gave, they were like, they gave us some instructions on what to expect for the 30-day, or they gave us the 30-day. They gave me the instructions or whatever. Of course, I sent all that. So when I was reading through the instructions for the 30-day, it mentioned like mediation. It mentioned the parenting class and a few other things. I was like, okay. Of course, you have to pay for the parenting class. That's $50 here in Georgia. Not every state does it, but Georgia does require a parenting class because children are involved in, once children are involved in the divorce. Yeah. Once I read that through, the parenting class for Fulton County, if any, I'm in Fulton County here in Georgia. Once I read through, I was like, okay, the parenting class for Fulton County was full, but the good thing about it was they did list like some of the other surrounding counties. So I hopped on, I think it's called like the 9th district. I did their parenting class all online, watching. I just had to watch the videos. I couldn't fast forward. I had to pay $55 to do it. And then they had a little like multiple choice test at the end, and then boom, I was done. Did that on a Friday, and this was like the Friday just before we had court on the 29th. But did that. So then I had to call the 9th district on Monday morning, and the guy answered, and he was like, okay, cool, I'll print it out for you. Well, I'll look at it, make sure everything's good, and then I'll send you a copy. And I was like, okay, thank you. So he did that pretty quickly. He told me to give him a few hours because he was like, everything looks good, he'll just get it certified and sent over. So he did email me back that, and I was like, okay, cool, let's go into this 30-day. So hopped into the 30-day, and nobody wasn't really in court that day. Everything right now in Georgia is via Zoom. No personal court appearance, like, based on the case or whatever. So we hopped in on the 30-day, and I'm sorry, y'all. The 30-day, the judge was pretty kind of, just asked a few questions. So he did ask, he was like, well, did you get, served a notice that, you had to be in court? And he was kind of stumbling. So I was like, well, Your Honor, I do have the notarized document from the process server saying that he was served. And then he asked just about like confirming the minor kids. Then he asked any property acquired during the marriage, and what else? I think it was like one other question was asked. Yeah, one or two other questions was asked, and that was basically it. So then he was like, he mentioned to the judge that he was not in the state of Georgia. So the judge was like, oh, okay, you're not in, he asked for the state, he asked for his contact information. He's like, okay. So then he asked me if I had any questions or concerns or whatever. So I did mention to the judge one thing that was a concern for me. I don't want to put it out there, but I mentioned it, and he was like, okay. So he went on, he pulled up, of course, the Fulton County Family Court website. He was like, do you guys see these documents? This document here, he said, print it out. I would suggest that you read it. Don't just fill it out. Read through everything, answer all the questions, and you have 14 days to exchange it between each other. So we were like, okay. And he was like, none of y'all are represented by attorneys. I know representing yourself, it could be kind of difficult, but I would suggest read, whatever. I said, okay. Yeah, so we'll make sure we do that. But anyway, he mentioned we had to exchange those documents, and then he recommended, not really recommended, but he said we had to do mediation, and we'll come back for the 60-day. So we're like, okay, we understand. So that's where we are right now. Today is the 13th, so this is the last day of the 14 days for us to exchange the documents. So we have to do that. Once that's done, it's up to us to schedule the mediation, y'all. And you have to call the office, we have to be agreed on a date and time, then call the office to schedule that date and time. And mediation is $115 per person for the first 3 hours, y'all. First 3 hours. So that's where we are right now. And then our 60-day would be November 3rd for the 60-day. So as I said, that's where we are right now. So, and I have to go back and I have to actually go in and e-file, because even though I did receive the document from the processor to say that documents were served, the judge, when he asked, I did tell him, when I told him I had it, he was like, okay, well, don't just present it, you have to file it. So I have to e-file that. I think I'm gonna have to e-file like me completing the family course, and of course, as he said to read, I have to submit the document that he gave us. It says you have to submit a certificate indicating that the documents were exchanged. So I have to do that, and just prepare for mediation. Don't know how that's gonna go. I think what I'll do, the next part of this vlog, I'll let you guys know what happened in mediation. Well, I'll share as much as I can of what happened in mediation. But yes, so the document that we had to file is, without putting my business out there, hopefully y'all can see right there, it says answers to interrogatories. Hopefully it's focused and y'all can see. Hopefully y'all ain't seeing my business. I'll put something over it, but yeah, hopefully y'all can see. That's what we had to do. We had to do that, and it had to be notarized, y'all. Of course. So we had to fill that out. With the divorce with children, let me tell y'all real quickly. Yeah, this is up on my phone right now because I have to again read and make sure, having all this paperwork. So you have the petition for divorce with minor children. That was the only document, as I mentioned, that I could file because it's considered contested. If it was uncontested, it would have been the consent to trial in 31 days, which we did that already. The sample visitation schedule, the parenting plan, the child support addendum, the settlement agreement with children, and then of course, if there's any type of report, if you wanted to say any type of like abuse or anything, there's what's called a standing order. I didn't need that, but I'll link it down below for anybody that needs it. You guys talk to me in the comments as well if you have any questions. I think I covered everything. But yeah, so those are the documents that are needed. It's a few more documents they have listed, but a lot of what they have listed, I don't want to say it doesn't make any sense, but some of them are needed depending on if it's contested or uncontested. Because like for instance, there's one called acknowledgement of service. So that would have been to say, you know, I did get served if that was the case. But then there's also for instance, the they have a definition sheet that you can print out as well if you need to know what they're talking about on the paperwork. And then there's the certain things that they have where you can print it out, but it doesn't make any sense because it's the court. If it's something where it's only the court to fill it out, they're gonna do it automatically for you anyway. So for instance, there's general civil and domestic relations case filing information form. I don't know if you guys can see this, but this is kind of what it looks like. Yeah, hold on, y'all. So this right here, for instance, they put it on there, but you don't really have to print that out because the court is going to do it anyway. Because some of the stuff that I printed out, I knew it did say for the court, but I thought I would have to print it to give it to them to sign off. But they don't really use it. They're gonna print it themselves and give it back to you. And I think that is it. As I said, I think I covered everything so far. So as I said, stay tuned for part 2. I'll let you guys know how mediations went, and whatever I'll share there. If you guys have any questions, again, let me know. But that is what it is right now, y'all. So that's the first part. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm hoping that it's complete before the year is over, but even if it's not, I just feel better and feel good knowing that it has been started. It is in the process, and it's something that I knew I needed to do a long time ago, and I was just playing around and just, and I put it on me because on a base for history purposes, I know it was me that needed to take care of everything and do everything. But yes, y'all. So as I said, that's it. I would say if you guys are wondering what caused us to really separate, y'all, it's on both of us. It's not just one person. It's not just him. It's not just me. Both of us. We did a lot of things for each other. Did a lot of tit for tat things. We did a lot of arguing, and it was just a lot. But yeah, so hopefully this helped you guys. If anybody needs help in getting started or have any questions, again, talk to me in the comment section. But that is it, y'all. I'm about to go have to go start picking up the kids, or whatever. Actually, I need to go cook real quick and get, I don't know what to call it. It's not even lunchtime anymore. Dinner started, I guess. But yes, so stay tuned for part 2. Bye, guys. Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications for the girl. But I'll see y'all later. Bye.